And what we're going to do is we're going to move on then to the adding and the subtracting and the multiplying, which is actually much easier to do. It's very similar to algebra. So for the first part, we're adding and subtracting exactly like algebra. You're going to put the i's with the i's, and you're going to put the things with no I with the things with no I. Any I squareds, then make sure you change them into i's or minus ones, because then all you're ever having in these sums when you're adding are just i's with i's and numbers with numbers. You should never end up with an I squared or an I to the power 5 in your ending sum. It should always look like a complex number in the form of a plus bi. So you should only ever have a number plus a number and I. So if I check here, underlined in blue, I have 3i minus 5i and minus I. Minus I represents minus 1i. So if I have 3 and I'm taking away 5 and I'm taking away 1, I end up with minus 3i. My numbers there are 2 and 6, and they add to give me 8. And I can put it before, I can put it after. It doesn't matter if it's in this format exactly. It can be bi plus a. That's fine as well. So that's all the adding is, just normal basic adding, same as algebra. Multiplying, exact same thing, but the main thing to remember here is that you need to change any I squared to be a minus 1, any I to the power of 4 to be an I or a number, because remember our answers must be in this format here, a plus bi. So we're going to simplify that first one, 3i by 2i, and then 3i by minus 1. So we're going to multiply the first two and then the second two. So 3 by 2 gives me 6. I by I gives I squared. And then 3i by minus 1 is going to give me minus 3i. Remember, I squared changes to be minus 1, so this is going to be changing to be 6 times minus 1 minus 3i. 6 times minus 1 is going to give me minus 6 and minus 3i. And now we are in that format, that a plus bi format. Same for the next one. If you want to use boxes to multiply something like this out, you can. It's the exact same as if they were x's. So here I'm going to multiply I by that bracket, and then I'm going to multiply 3 by that bracket. So I by that bracket is going to be 2i squared minus 5i. 3 by the second bracket are 2 3s are 6i, and 3 5s are minus 15. And again, the I squared needs to change to be at minus 1. So I'm going to have 2 times minus 1 minus 5i plus 6i minus 15. And I just tidy that up. 2 by minus 1 is minus 2. Minus 5i plus 6i minus 15, and I'm back doing the same adding I was doing before. I'm going to put the 2 and the minus 15 together, the minus 2 and the minus 15, and the minus 5 and the plus 6. So I'll end up with minus 17 and plus 1i, and you can write the 1 in front of the I if you want. So there's the basic multiplying. In our example 5 then, it's very, very similar. It's just that now you have to substitute in what W and Z are. A lot of the times they use W and Z in these questions instead of filling in for A and B or anything like that in substitution. But you just fill it in the exact same way that you would fill in substitution in algebra. So for the first one, I have 2. In for Z is going to go, so I have my 2, and my Z goes 2 minus 3i from the question above, minus W, and in from minus W goes the thing above, minus I plus 4. Now I've put that in a bracket to make sure that my signs don't go wrong here, because remember there is a minus at the front. And now I just back to multiplying like I did at the top. So when I go to multiply this out, I'll do 2 by 2, and I'll do 2 by minus 3i. So it's going to be 4 minus 6i, and then that minus by the minus I and by the plus 4, and I'll have a plus I and a minus 4. And I end up then tidying that up, and the 4's here cancel, so you can write a 0 plus if you wish. You don't have to, it's up to yourself. And you can also just write it as just the minus 6 and the plus 1i, that'd be minus 5i. So either 0 minus 5i or just 5i on its own is completely fine. The last little one here then, they are 3 by W by Z. So 3 by W by Z, that's 3. In goes my W, which is minus I plus 4. And in goes my Z, which is 2 minus 3i. When you're multiplying 3 things, remember, multiply the first 2 or multiply the last 2, doesn't matter what order. Multiply 2 of them, and then multiply your answer by the third part. So I'm going to multiply 3 by the first part there. So it's going to be 3 by I and 3 by 4. So it's going to be minus 3i and plus 12. And now I'm going to multiply that by the 2 minus 3i. Same as we did in example 4. So I'm going to multiply the minus 3i by the second bracket and the plus 12 by the second bracket. So minus 3i by the second bracket is minus 6i plus 9i squared. Now the 12 by the second bracket is 24 minus 36i. Remember, I squareds are going to change to be minus 1. So I now have minus 6i plus 9 times minus 1 plus 24 and then minus 36i. Minus 6i minus 9 plus 24 and minus 36i. So together then, I'm going to put the i's with the i's and the numbers with the numbers. So the numbers with the numbers, we have 24, and we're going to take away 9, and that's going to leave us with 15. And then we have minus 6i and minus 36, and that's going to give me minus 42i. Oh, sorry, minus 42i. And that's it. There are sums. So that is the multiplying, the adding, the subtracting, writing numbers, and where the information comes from.